Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a look at how Army snipers create camouflage ghillie suits for combat. This course, to preface, is done at Fort Benning, Georgia, where they do the sniper course. So those guys and gals that want to become snipers for the United States Army will go to this course, and they're going to show how they build their ghillie suits. I haven't seen this video, but I was at Fort Benning, Georgia for some of my training for basic and officer candidate school, and one thing you can see, this water, this like orangish mud, the Georgia clay, it gets everywhere. It covers your uniforms. It covers everything that you have in this reddish hue, and it's so hard to get out whenever you are trying to clean all of your freaking gear, let me tell you. So
He's moving!
These U.S. Army Sniper Course students are participating in what's known as a ghillie wash.
oh, gross.
An event designed to test the durability of a soldier's ghillie suit.
Ah, okay.
Snipers rely on their ghillie suits in combat to disguise themselves from enemies.
The purpose of the ghillie suit is to achieve a blending. We use natural vegetation as well. We tie that into our suit, and it helps us to blend in with whatever environment we could potentially be working in.
These future snipers will take the ghillie suits made and tested in training into actual combat.
We give them
That's cool.
steps and places of the body where we want to cover that helps us look like nothing. They could even know that they're looking for us. They know someone is there, but they cannot find us.
So one of the things they may talk about a little bit is how important it is to have basically any type of round figure, something that does not look natural. The human brain and the human eye will pick up on that and track it very quickly. So it's really important to get this type of concealment where it's breaking up that our body shape and breaking it up to look more like nature, where it's more asymmetrical. Things aren't as perfectly round, or things aren't looking where the brain will be able to pick that out and say, that looks unnatural, and then start to investigate. So that's why this ghillie suit is there as well, which I'm sure they'll go into detail about.
Commercially made ghillie suits can cost anywhere from $200 to $400. It all starts with the base layer. For many, it's one of their old uniforms, or a used one they can buy for roughly $100.
There you go.
I just cut a bunch of pieces out of it, sewed a bunch of mesh into it for venting, and then sewed netting onto the outside of it.
Perfect.
Netting is used to break up the sniper's silhouette and to attach natural and artificial camouflage to the suit. The most common artificial camouflage is jute, a fibrous plant-based material.
You just strip it into pieces, and that is the hair-looking stuff all over a ghillie suit.
Beauty.
But just be mindful of this color, right? If you're not in shade, that's not going to do you any good, right? That's going to make you stick out.
Instructors inspect students' ghillie suits several times during the sniper course.
We do a 360 inspection, ensuring that there are points that generally get blown out, such as the crotch of the pants, armpits, elbows, stuff like that. Those high wear and tear areas are reinforced, they're sewn down, they're glued.
I know you got it extended here. You might want to try to extend this some here to break up this straight line. Every student's ghillie.
One of the things that's interesting about this course so far, seeing it, is that what a lot of people may experience, especially in more like the TRADOC, is when you're in that training doctrine, is what that stands for, or that training environment, is that sometimes it can be regulation, doing things exactly, which, not to say that these guys aren't, but what's different about courses like this is that it's fascinating because you can see them, they're more of in a mentorship, trying to teach these guys and gals, this is what you're looking for, this is what we want to do, rather than, you know, the breakdown that we've seen in previous videos. So if you're kind of curious, maybe you're not familiar with military training stuff, that's what they're doing here, is they're just in a mentorship, the instructor teaching the student, this is what you want to do, this is how you want to make sure that this thing works, you want to break up your silhouette doing this.
Ghillie suit isn't going to be the same. We give them left and right parameters, and they fit, you know, wherever they fall in.
The durability of the suits is tested during an event known as the ghillie wash, which happens in week 2 of the sniper course.
Oh man. That looks miserable.
The purpose of the ghillie wash is to season and condition their ghillie suit, not only to help it soak up color and to have it kind of more natural and earthy. It also allows us to find any weak points they could potentially have in their ghillie suits. Just kind of see how anything will tear, like the netting and stuff on the back.
Also, one thing that this is doing that they're not really talking about is it's obviously mentally test you, physically and mentally test you, because that's freaking exhausting, dude. If you've ever crawled on your back like that, or if you've ever had to low crawl or even high crawl, it is exhausting when you do it for a certain period of time. So obviously you can see a lot of the reinforcement in some of their pant legs and stuff, which here, let me move my face out of the way real quick. The guy right there, see how he's got his legs reinforced? That stuff right there is definitely what, like they said, testing that stuff to make sure that it's good to go. It's just funny to see these guys all in the sand, in the mud. It's temporary though. That's what's important to remember.
The ghillie wash starts with students crawling and rolling across various terrains,
Go to your left. Go to your left. Hey, Kate.
including gravel, pavement, and sand.
What is the primary role of the sniper? To engage with the
When you soak them down, get them wet, that's going to start creating a lot of weight. It's going to make it a little bit harder for them as well.
Exercises such as lunges,
Love it.
squats, and push-ups test the suit's ability to stretch under pressure.
They're just kind of testing out their ghillie suit in sense of how able was it to take the beating.
And how much they can
Roughing
take a
up their
beating.
Suits. Students crawl on their stomachs and backs through wet and muddy trenches to add color to them.
And color.
It's not necessarily we're trying to find a weak point at that point, but we're trying to get that color deeply rooted in the fabric. There is really, really deep clay mud that's pretty prominent here, so it's a good source for.
Just like I said.
You're trying to get that earthy tone here.
The clay around here in Georgia tastes pretty good, so.
It
The
never
last
comes out.
section of the ghillie wash takes place in a 200-foot-long trench filled with water reaching up to chest high.
You have them low crawling over any kind of like obstacles and stuff like that to see if the area that they drag themselves on will possibly peel up. And again, any kind of stitching is going to rip.
But that feels nice on a hot
After climbing
Georgia
out
day,
of the
though.
trench, the students get hosed off to remove any excess mud before hanging their suits out to dry.
It is a very physical event, but it's completely necessary. Like, we have to test out these ghillie suits to make sure they're going to withstand the test of time.
Dude, I love it. The way that they make it seem is it's just like, hey, it is completely necessary for them to be absolutely just mentally and physically exhausted for their suit. But I get it. I get it. It's just funny to hear them say, oh, it seems like they're skirting around the complete secondary parts of it. Their primary reason, right, is we want to get the suit to be one with the soldier. And in order to do that, you got to go through this and get it into everything they're talking about, those earthy tones, into the actual suit itself. But dude, you know it's a grind. It's got to suck.
The culminating test of the ghillie suits comes during stalk events. Students must navigate through wooded terrain without being spotted by the instructors walking around them or by those observing from afar with binoculars.
That's got to be tough.
Before the event begins, the class covers themselves in natural vegetation that matches their surroundings.
On their ghillie suits, they have a number of tie downs on the hat, the top, and the pants.
550.
They'll tie natural vegetation that matches the environment they're currently in, just to give them an initial base layer of camouflage as they move through the lane.
Students are taught to use a 30-to-70 ratio of artificial to natural camouflage and must carefully pick which kinds of foliage to use.
Here in Georgia, it's so hot and humid, everything dies kind of quickly. The only thing that's going to really live on you a long time is the pine leaves and stuff. And the smaller, the shorter the plant is, the longer it'll live.
Man,
Once the class enters the woods, they must keep a low profile. moving slowly and deliberately to avoid drawing the eye of an instructor.
Yeah, exactly like Goof said, the experienced eye.
As
That's got to be
the
tough.
foliage around them changes, the students swap out the natural vegetation on their ghillie suits to match their environment.
Wow.
But even the smallest of imperfections in a student's camouflage will get them spotted.
He is pulling, and then spotter, spotting scope. Not a bad position at all, right? If you would have vegged more on that spotting scope, you guys probably would have been all right.
I had like a screen over the top of my tripod, and it was like an off color for the foliage that was around. I mean, you're not going to go out there and not learn something.
Right.
So
there you go.
It's definitely fun.
You don't put it on, it just disappears, not like the movies or a video game, but you put it on and it helps us to achieve a blending effect with our environment.
The movement
A
part.
well-constructed and properly maintained ghillie suit can last a sniper's entire career.
Wow.
I've done multiple washes in my ghillie suit, and I've had it the entirety of me being a sniper. The only time I have to do anything to it is just replace jute, because it's natural and it's going to wear away eventually. But all the stitching, everything like that is continuously held up over the years. That's the beauty of the ghillie suit, is that it can be manipulated in so many different ways to kind of tailor it to whatever environment you're in.
Dude, imagine you accidentally grab some poison ivy or poison oak and you're wrapping yourself around that just to blend in with the environment, and the next thing you know, your whole body's just covered. There's probably somebody that's have definitely done that in Georgia. But if you've ever been, kind of like what Forgive said, for sure, the Georgia clay never comes out, and I was kind of talking about that a little bit too, where it's not a good place to have equipment. When you sign out equipment from CIF, the Central Issue Facility, and you have to give it back, it's always, it's always the worst whenever you have to get that gone. So Tweaks, my NCO, wrapped himself in poison oak vine. Oh no. That's brutal. Jeezy Pete's. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts as we wrap up this video, and then we will hopefully catch you in the next one. But Twitch, we're going to keep on keeping on.
I got the shivers.